So then, we are back with a more understanding from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayelic lineage, so then we can understand the time of the end. As per Yirmiyahu the prophet, we find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. As we read then Yirmiyahu the prophet, must ask ourselves what kind of a course of forward motion should we then be engaged in. So then, reading then the news, we find then many understandings that people so thought it was true for so many centuries ended up being lies, and traditions where so many nations are then involved for centuries, they find out then later they were part of a lie. But let's then evaluate what's going on then with the Soviet Union at the moment, because Ukraine then obviously wants to have more partnership with the West, and there is then a window of roughly 36 months yet for the Soviet Union becoming then the greater power. And during this time must then understand what Daniel the prophet has mentioned regarding then the knowledge shall increase. By reading then these articles, we find then the system of the East is very evident, and then as these virtual monetary systems must be linked up with China's, we find then this time is then for the linking of the systems and then working in infrastructure projects such as then maritime or then on land, rails or then roads, making sure then these ports and airports and the system of postal services are then updated and upgraded, so then when the system becomes available at once, then these nations can handle the amount of products coming through their lines. As we understand this factor, what should we ask as far as what is then the next forward motion? As it was said before, Egypt yet must receive arms from the Soviet Union, and then later on preparing for the skirmishes going on with ISIL, then the sons of Ishmael, and also Egypt. So that's precisely where we are at as far as what's coming in the future. Later on I'm going to evaluate more of what then Africa is doing, because there is a very important promise regarding the African involvement in this particular section of Daniel the 11th chapter. So please stay tuned. Later on I'm going to evaluate more the new system coming from China in this very short period of time, where then US and the other countries can link themselves up with the Chinese system and the fast payment, the ultra-fast internet signals, and then telephones, making payments with the telephones and upgrading their ports and airports, so then they can handle the demand of trade coming in the near future. So please stay tuned. Much more coming up.